Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be doing a wrap up basically of all of the books that I have gotten in January, February and March. I have like 40 odd books to talk about. I've got a lot of fantastic books, so I'm just going to do it really quickly and hopefully this video won't be too long for you guys and hopefully you'll find some books that you really want to read. So if you do enjoy this video, please hit the like button down below, comment if you enjoy these types of videos. I'll make more of them. You don't have to give me an excuse to buy more books. And yeah, if you subscribe and you hit that notification bell, you'll be notified anytime I post a video in the future. So yeah, I've got a lot of books. Let's just get into it. Okay, so the first 6 books that I want to talk about, I actually have already done like a Waterstones haul video for them, but I thought I would just include them in this book haul just because I did get them between January and March. So I'm just going to name them, and then if you would like to hear a little bit more about the books, then I will direct you to that video. It should be up here somewhere. So I got The Jasmine Throne, which is by Tasha Suri. I also got the last in the Poppy War trilogy, which is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang, and I'm so excited to finally be able to read this trilogy now that I have all 3 books. Yeah, really look forward to it. I also then got a signed edition of The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Woolley, and I am so excited to read this. I then got the second in the Hall of Smoke series. Now this is by H.M. Long, and look at the cover. Look at that. How cool is that? I then also got The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. Now you know I love anything to do with witches. It's an obsession. I just think they're really cool. And listen to the 3 main characters' names. We have James Juniper, Agnes Amaranth, and Beatrice Belladonna. Like, come on, how cool are those names? Yeah, I'm super excited to read that. And then I finally picked up The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I've been wanting this for so long. I've never read a John Gwynne novel as well before, so I'm super excited to read this. It's got Norse mythology, dragons, epic fantasy. Like, what more could you possibly want? Myth, magic, and bloody vengeance. So yeah, those are the 6 books that I got from Waterstones in that book haul, so if you do want to go and check that out, that would be cool. So yeah, moving on to all the other books. I then picked up, I think it's the 4th in the Graceling series. It's either the 3rd or the 4th, I can't remember which. So yeah, this is Winterkeep, and the covers are just beautiful, the Gracelings series. So yeah, I don't want to read the synopsis of it because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, I've heard wonderful things about the Graceling series. So happy that I managed to pick this up. Then I hit up the charity shop. Now some of these books might seem a little bit weird, but I am weird. So I got a journal of the Plague Year. When I was in school learning about history and learning about the Black Plague, I found it so fascinating. So when I saw this, I thought like, yes, I need to read this. It's so interesting. Talking about the Great Plague Year in 1665 in London. So yes, I picked up that. Bit of an odd one, but eh. I then got A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Again, charity shop, 99p, what a bargain. BookTok seems to be obsessed with these books, so I'm really glad I found one for 99p, just in case it wasn't like my kind of vibe, but I thought I'd give it a try anyway. I then picked up My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. Now, Daphne du Maurier wrote Rebecca, which is one of my favourites, and I've never read My Cousin Rachel before, so I'm super excited to read this. See if it lives up to my love of Rebecca, we shall see. I then picked up an Agatha Christie novel. I've never read an Agatha Christie novel, and I can't believe I haven't. I don't know why. I got The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. We're just gonna give it a try and see what, you know, what Agatha Christie's writing's like. I'm really looking forward to this, actually. Yeah, like I say, I've never read an Agatha Christie book before, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the hype's all about. I then picked up All the Murmuring Bones. This looks really interesting. Long ago, Mira O'Malley's family prospered due to a deal struck with the Mer, safety for their ships in return for a child of each generation. But for many years, the family have been unable to keep their side of the bargain and have fallen into decline. Mirren's grandmother is determined to restore their glory, even at the price of Mirren's freedom. A spellbinding tale of dark family secrets, magic and witches, and creatures of myth and sea, of strong women and the men who seek to control them. Like, how good does that sound? And I haven't heard anyone talk about this at all. Like, I haven't seen this anywhere. And when I read it, I was like, why isn't anyone talking about this? It sounds so good. I then picked up Lament, which is by Maggie Stiefvater. I'm sorry, I definitely pronounced that wrong. She wrote the Shiver series, which I do have and have not read. 16-year-old Dee is a clover hand, someone who can see fairies. When she finds herself irresistibly drawn to beautiful and mysterious Luke, Dee senses that he wants something more dangerous than a summer romance. But Dee doesn't realise that Luke is an assassin from the fairy world, and she is his next target. I don't know if it's part of a series though. I was so excited to find these. I got the Young Elites trilogy. How cool is that? I got all three from the charity shop, so I got it for £2.97 in total. Like, that's so good. So we have the Young Elites, the Rose Society, and then the Midnight Star. I think that's the order. Loads of people talk about this series, so I thought, why not pick them up? So Adelina Amatera is a survivor of the blood fever, marked by a jagged scar where her left eye once was. Branded as a malfetto and abomination, she is cast out from all she's ever known and loved. Adelina finds sanctuary with other malfettos and discovers that the disease has left her with more than just a scar. She has a mysterious and powerful gift. She is a young elite, but Adelina's ability is stronger than any young elite before her, and unless she can control the vengeful darkness growing in her heart, Adelina could be a danger to them all. That sounds really good, and yeah, I could not miss the deal. £2.97 for 3 very popular books. I'm not gonna say no. Oh, I'm running out of space. I then got The City of Woven Streets by Emmy Iteranta. I've not seen this anywhere at all. This is why I love charity shops. The amount of times I find books that no one's ever mentioned before, like I've never even heard of, and they sound really interesting. In the City of Woven Streets, human life has little value. You practice a craft to stay alive, or you are cast out. Eliana, a young weaver in the House of Webs, knows she doesn't belong there. She is hiding a shameful birth defect that would, if anyone knew about it, land her in the House of the Tainted. When a mysterious woman with her tongue cut off and Eliana's name tattooed on her skin arrives at the House of Webs, Eliana discovers an invisible network of power behind the city's facade. All the while, the sea is clawing the shores and the streets are slowly drowning. Doesn't that sound cool? Like, I've not heard anyone talk about this, and it sounds so interesting. A City of Woven Streets. Really cool. I then picked up Shock of the Fall. So it says, I'll tell you what happened because it will be a good way to introduce my brother. His name's Simon. I think you're going to like him, I really do, but in a couple of pages he'll be dead. And he was never the same after that. Like, how good does that sound? It's The Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filer. I then picked up A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Beautiful cover again. Extraordinary novel of love, loss and hope. Connor has the same dream every night ever since his mother first fell ill. Ever since she started the treatments that don't quite seem to be working. But tonight is different. Tonight when he wakes, there's a visitor at the window. It's ancient, elemental, a force of nature, and it wants the most dangerous thing of all from Connor. It wants the truth. Like, I'm so intrigued by that premise. That sounds so interesting. So yeah, Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. So then I did go on another little shopping spree a while ago now, and I went into the works and they had Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover for £5. So yeah, I'm gonna pick it up. Colleen Hoover is like book talk royalty. I swear, everyone talks about Colleen Hoover. Everyone loves Colleen Hoover. I have 3 of her books now and I haven't read a single one yet. I really need to read them. I have It Ends With Us and Verity and now Ugly Love. Yes, I really need to read them. Colleen Hoover, like I say, is absolute TikTok royalty. I need to get around to reading them. Speaking of TikTok royalty, also then got The Love Hypothesis. Oh my gosh, is everyone talking about this book? And if this is not amazing, I will be so disappointed. It even has the TikTok sensation on the cover. Like, come on. If it's not good, I'm not going to trust anyone anymore. I swear, everyone is talking about how good this is. It is a romance about 2 chemists, I think. That's literally all I know about it. It says, as a third-year PhD candidate, Olive Smith doesn't believe in lasting romantic relationships, but her best friend does, and that's what got her into this situation. Convincing Anne that Olive is on her way to a happily ever after was always going to be tough. Scientists require proof. So like any self-respecting woman, Olive panics and kisses the first man she sees. That man is none other than Adam Carlson, a young hotshot professor and well-known ass. Oh, is it going to be like enemies to lovers? Yeah. If this isn't good, I'm going to be so disappointed. Me and George are going away on holiday in May, so I'm going to take this and also this, which is another one I got, and hopefully, yeah, I'll read them while on holiday. I think they're going to be nice book reads. So speaking of, I also got The Spanish Love Deception by Eleanor Armas. Yeah, just a book talk favourite rom-com kind of book, I think, and I fancied something light when I was on holiday, so I saw those 2 and I was like, I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't been on holiday in like 3 years, so I thought I would get some good books to read by the poolside. I'm so excited. Oh, another little Waterstones book that I picked up just at a whim. I got The Natural History of Dragons. I've been wanting this for so long and I was so excited that I just picked it up. Like, I was just like, I need it in my life. And it sounds so interesting, like the way it's written. So it says, from Skurland to the farthest reaches of Eriga, Lady Trent is known to be the world's preeminent dragon naturalist, who brought the study of dragons into the clear light of modern science. But before she became the illustrious figure we know now, there was a bookish young woman whose passion for learning defied the stifling conventions of her day. Here at last, in her own words, is the true story of a pioneering spirit who risked her reputation, her prospects, and her fragile flesh to satisfy her scientific curiosity, of how she sought true love and happiness despite her lamentable eccentricities, and of her thrilling expedition to the perilous mountains of Vistrana, where she made the first of many historic discoveries that would change the world forever. Doesn't that sound so interesting? I just love the idea. It's almost like a diary. It just sounds really interesting. So I've been wanting that for a while, so I'm very happy I picked that up. Next 3 books I got sent from like either the author or the publishers, and I'm always so happy to receive ARCs. Like, I just feel so grateful. And this one sounds really, really freaking cool. So this is The Last Keeper by J.V. Hilliard, and look at the cover. Like, how cool is that? With the bird of prey, it just looks like a really awesome epic fantasy, and I love that. You know me. You know, I just love delving into entirely new worlds. So I will read the synopsis of this because I'm extremely grateful that people would send me books, and it looks so freaking cool. So a young boy's prophetic visions. Blind at birth, Damus Alaric is blessed with the gift of prophetic sight. Now, as a keeper of the forbidden, he must use his powers of the sight to foil the plans of a fallen keeper, greaterous than mad. That sounds so cool. An elven princess with a horrifying secret, Princess Adeline Elspeth travels from Eldwall, the magically hidden home of the Vermilion Elves. Vermilion Elves, that sounds awesome. To begin her life as a diplomat to the human capital of Castleshire. During her journey, she stumbles upon a mystical creature foretelling ill tidings and a terrifying force of evil. Damus's recurring nightmare vision threatens to catapult him into a terrifying struggle that will leave the fate of the keepers and the realm hanging in the balance. Damus and Princess Adeline must set out to face the menace that threatens their very existence. Will the entire realm fall to its knees? So this is the first book in the Warminster series, with gripping epic action and heart-pounding excitement. You'll love this new adventure series. That sounds so good. Yeah, it just sounds so epic. And I can't wait. I literally cannot wait to read this. It sounds so interesting. Yeah, just an absolute classic epic fantasy, and I love that. So yes, thank you so much, J.V. Hilliard. So excited. I then also got A Far Wilder Magic by Alison Saft. Now, I actually already received, I'll try and get it out of my very full book sleeves of all the books I'm reading at the minute. Okay, yes, so this is the ARC version of the book that I got, and then this is the finished. I'm actually currently reading the ARC at the minute. I'm up to there, and I am loving this so far. I'm honestly, like, if it stays the way it is now, I'm 104 pages in. It's definitely going to be a 5-star read. I am absolutely loving it. It's honestly the characters and the kind of relationship between the 2 main characters, it is true. I wouldn't even, yeah, enemies to lovers, but like really disgruntled enemies to lovers. I love it. So yeah, I got sent the official copy, which is beautiful. There are a few little differences. You can actually see the Hala, which I will read about in a minute, at the bottom. But yeah, I'm loving this. An intoxicating love story set against a mythical hunt. In the Gothic town of Wigton, Maggie Welty lives alone in an old creaking manor. But when she spots the Hala, which is that right there, a legendary fox creature, she knows the half-moon hunt soon will follow. Whoever kills the Hala will earn fame and riches. While Maggie is the best sharpshooter in town, she needs the help of an alchemist to be in with a chance of winning. Enter Wes Winters. Fired from every apprenticeship, this is his last chance. Maggie and Wes make an unlikely team, a charismatic but troubled boy and a girl who has endured life in a town that never welcomed her. But the pair are drawn together as they uncover dark magic that could be the key to winning the hunt, if they survive that long. I'm honestly loving this so much. And obviously I haven't finished it yet, but if it stays as good as it already is, 100 pages in, it's easily going to be a 5-star read. I am loving it so far. So yes, thank you so much to Orion for sending me this. I really appreciate it. And then the last book that I got sent, which is, we're moving on to the hardbacks now, is The Book of Form and Emptiness by Ruth Ozeki, and it is a signed copy, which is always really lovely. This sounds really, I've literally not heard of any other book like this before. It sounds really unique and interesting. 1 year after the death of his beloved musician father, 13-year-old Benny O begins to hear voices. The voices belong to the things in his home: a sneaker, a broken Christmas ornament, a piece of wilted lettuce. Although Benny doesn't understand what these things are saying, he can sense their emotional tone. Some are pleasant, a gentle hum or coo, but others are snide, angry, and full of pain. When his mother develops a hoarding problem, the voices grow more clamorous. At first, Benny tries to ignore them, but soon the voices follow him outside the house, onto the street and at school, driving him at last to seek refuge in the silence of a large public library, where objects are well behaved and know to speak in whispers. There, Benny discovers a strange new world where things happen. He falls in love with a mesmerising street artist with a smug pet ferret, who uses the library as her performance space. He meets a homeless philosopher poet who encourages him to ask important questions and finds his own voice against the many. And he meets his very own book, a talking thing who narrates Benny's life and teaches him to listen to the things that truly matter. Like, how interesting does that sound? I never heard a book like that ever before. I'm extremely excited to read it, and it sounds really interesting. And plus it's signed, which is just a nice little addition. Okay, right, so we are, oh no, I forgot. I also got these 4 books in my recent box of stories. So now, if you don't know a box of stories, it's basically a book subscription box where they save books from landfill. So every year, thousands and thousands of books are sent literally to landfill to just rot away. Because they don't have the marketing budget. So they produce all these books, but they can't market it enough to get them out, and then they just end up on landfill. And the books are fantastic. They're, you know, brand new. I am affiliated with a box of stories, so if you do fancy picking up a box, you get 4 books. Here is the information of the kind of deal that you can get if you go through my affiliate link. But it's just a really good company. I am so happy that I'm affiliated with them, because I truly believe in what they're doing. Like, books shouldn't just end up on landfill just because people don't know about them. It's ridiculous. It really annoys me, and it's so wasteful. So yeah, I got Things I Know About Love by Kate Levan. I got Sal by Mick Kitson. I then got The Summer We All Ran Away. This is by Cassandra Parkin, and I really love the cover of that. It looks really interesting. And then I got As I Descended by Robin Telly, and that also looks super interesting. This was the YA box, I believe. I think I chose the YA box, I can't remember. Yeah, but I got all four of these brand new books, and all of these were literally going to go to the dump. They were going to go to the landfill, which is outrageous. So yeah, I forgot about that one. Okay, now moving on to my hardbacks. I think I have like 14, so I'll be snappy. George, bless him, Treated Me to the Maid by Nita Prose. This sounds really interesting. It is very new. It's literally only just come out. Yeah, it just sounds really interesting because it's obviously from the maid's perspective. People tend to ignore maids. Maids always know what's up. They know the tea. So it says, you don't see her, but she sees you. Molly the maid is all alone in the world, a nobody. She's used to being invisible in her job at the Regency Grand Hotel, plumping pillows and wiping away the grime. She's just a maid, why should anyone take notice? But Molly is thrown into the spotlight when she discovers an infamous guest, Mr. Black, very dead in his bed. This isn't a mess that can be easily cleaned up, and as Molly becomes embroiled in the hunt for the truth, following the clues whispering the hallways, she discovers a power she never knew was there. She's just a maid, but what can she see that others overlook? It just sounds like a really interesting murder mystery from, yeah, a very kind of invisible perspective. It just sounds really interesting. So yeah, George treated me to that because he's lovely. I think he got me this for Valentine's Day. So yeah, February it came out. So yeah, really excited to read that. I then, I'm so excited, I picked up She Who Became the Sun. This is by Rebel Warrior Hero. This is by Shelley Parker Chan. Everyone is talking about this on BookTok. It's doing the rounds. Yeah, it sounds fantastic. Can she outwit her destiny and rise as high as she can dream? In a famine-stricken village on a dusty yellow plain, a seer shows 2 children their fates. For the boy, greatness. For the girl, nothingness. In 1345, China lies under harsh Mongol rule. For the starving peasants of the Central Plains, greatness is only found in stories. The Zhou family is mystified as to how Zhou Chongba, their 8th-born son, will achieve his lofty future. But for a daughter, no matter how clever or capable, an early death will be no surprise. Yet, when a bandit attack orphans the 2 children, it's Zhou Chongba who dies. Desperate to survive, his sister steals his identity to enter a monastery. There, disguised as a male novice, Zhou learns she can be ruthless to avoid her fate. But when her sanctuary is destroyed, Zhou is cast back into the war-torn world. To change her ending, there's only one thing she can do: claim her brother's great destiny as her own. Doesn't that sound incredible? And I love anything set in China. And the cover is gorgeous. So yes, very high on my to-read list. And then I spoiled myself. So obviously, Sarah J. Maas, a very popular author, has come out with a very popular book recently. And that is House of Sky and Breath. Now look at this. It's beautiful. The thing is about this, I have the first in the series, but I had it on paperback. So I did a thing where I bought it in hardback to match this one. Yeah. So yeah, I got both of these on hardback. So I will be doing a giveaway of my paperback version of this. But yeah, I'm super excited. I can't wait for the next one to come out, and they're just so pretty. Okay, I also then picked up Iron Widow, which I've been wanting for so long, and it looks so good. And so many people say that this is like a really underrated fantasy that they absolutely adore, like it's one of their favourites. So it is. It says, "You've been living a dream for long enough. Welcome to your nightmare. The boys of Huxia dream of the celebrity status that comes with piloting chrysalises, a giant transforming robots that battle the aliens beyond the Great Wall. Their female co-pilots are expected to serve as concubines and sacrifice their lives. When 18-year-old Zetian offers herself up as a concubine pilot, her plan is to assassinate the ace male pilot responsible for her sister's death. But on miraculously emerging from the cockpit unscathed after her first battle, she is declared an Iron Widow, the most feared pilot of all. Now that Zetian has had a taste of power, she sets her sights on bigger things. The time has come to stop more girls from being sacrificed." How amazing does that sound? And look at the cover. It's a wraparound cover. Even cooler. I'm so excited for this, I can't tell you. I then also got this Woven Kingdom. George got me this actually. He's surprised me with it on my wish list. I'm so grateful. Yeah, this is a brand new fantasy series. This is obviously the first in the series, and I'm extremely excited about this. It just sounds, oh, and look at the dust jacket. That's nice. I didn't notice that before. Yeah, it just sounds like a really fantastic enemies to lovers, epic fantasy, forbidden romance, dynasty, like kings and queens and royalty, and it just sounds like it's going to hit all the spots. And also look at the chapter art. I think it's really, look at that. I love stuff like that. So it just sounds like it's going to hit all the spots, and I'm so excited. And then also, I got The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. This sounds amazing, and it's not too long as well, which I love a shorter fantasy book. I'm just going to do a close up because isn't that gorgeous? Okay, I'm gonna have to read the synopsis. Deadly storms and ancient curse, will her sacrifice save them all? For generations, deadly storms have ravaged Mina's homeland. Her people believe the sea god, once their protector, now curses them with death and despair. To appease him, each year a maiden is thrown into the sea in the hopes that one day the true bride will be chosen and end the suffering. Many believe Shim Cheong, Mina's brother's beloved, to be the legendary true bride. But on the night Cheong is to be sacrificed, Mina's brother follows her, knowing that to interfere is a death sentence. To save her brother, Mina throws herself into the water in Cheong's stead. Swept away to the spirit realm, a magical city of lesser gods and mythical beasts, Mina finds the sea god, trapped in an enchanted sleep. With the help of a mysterious young man and a motley crew of demons, gods and spirits, Mina sets out to wake him and bring an end to the storms once and for all. But she doesn't have much time. A human cannot live long in the land of the spirits, and there are those who would do anything to keep the sea god from waking. How amazing does that sound? I'm so excited. Honestly, I cannot wait. It makes me think of that scene in Moana when they go into like the spirit realm underwater, and it just sounds so good. I'm so excited. Yeah, that was definitely an impulse buy, but 100% worth it. Speaking of impulse buys, this was 100% an impulse buy because I actually already had this in paperback. but it was beautiful and I couldn't resist. I could not resist getting it. Like, are you kidding me? So this is the Atlas 6. I actually already had this in paperback, and it's been doing the rounds on Book Talk and people are really enjoying it. So Waterstones have come out with an exclusive edition, which I think is fantastic. It's brilliant for the author. I'm so happy for the author. This is a dark academic, magic, gothic kind of academic style, where 6 people compete for a position and only 5 can get the position, so someone's going to die at the end of them. 6 extraordinary magicians, 5 chances to win, and 1 secret society. So yeah, I am very excited to read this, and it was definitely an impulse buy, but I think 100% worth it, and it's gorgeous. Speaking of gorgeous, this is another one that George surprised me with, and it is Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Look at it. Oh my gosh, is this beautiful. I've been wanting this for a very long time. Sue Lynn Tan is the author of this, and it is just gorgeous. It says, there are many legends about my mother. Raised on the moon, Xinjin was unaware she was being hidden from the celestial empire who exiled her mother for stealing the elixir of immortality. When her magic flares and Xinjin's existence is discovered, she is forced to flee her home, leaving her mother behind. Alone, powerless and afraid, she makes her way to the celestial kingdom, a land of wonder and secrets. In disguise, she trains alongside the Emperor's son, mastering archery and magic despite the passion which flames between them. To rescue her mother, she must embark on a quest confronting legendary creatures and vicious enemies. But when forbidden magic threatens the kingdom, Xinjian must challenge the ruthless Emperor, leaving her torn between losing all she loves or plunging the realm into chaos. A beautiful book for a beautiful story. I am so excited to read this. I then picked up The Devil and the Dark Water. This was a charity shop find. This is it's a thriller, Out in the Waters, I believe. George has a copy of it in paperback, but I saw it in hardback, so I was gonna get it. Wow, I didn't see that before. That's so cool. In 1634, the world's greatest detective is being transported from the Dutch East Indies to Amsterdam when he is facing trial and execution for a crime he may or may not have committed. Travelling with him is his loyal bodyguard, Arent Hayes, who is determined to prove his friend's innocent. While also on board are Sarah Wessel, a noblewoman with a secret, and her husband, the Governor-General of Latvia. But no sooner is their ship out to sea than devilry begins to blight the voyage. A strange symbol appears on the sail, a dead leper stalks the decks, livestock are slaughtered in the night. And then the passengers hear a terrible voice whispering to them in the darkness, promising them 3 unholy miracles. First, an impossible pursuit, second, an impossible theft, and third, an impossible murder. Could a demon be responsible for their misfortunes? Oh, it just sounds so good. So excited to read this. This one was an impulse buy, but I was so excited to get it. It is The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue. Now, Emma Donoghue wrote one of my favourite books of all time, and that's Room, which if you haven't read Room, you need to. It's fantastic. But this sounds really interesting. I will quickly read the synopsis because it's been a while since I read it. So it's set in Dublin, 1918, in a country doubly ravaged by war and disease. Nurse Julia Power works at an understaffed hospital in the city centre, where expectant mothers who have come down with an unfamiliar flu are quarantined together. In the darkness and intensity of this tiny ward, over the course of 3 days, 3 women, Dr. Kathleen Lynn, on the run from the police, and a young volunteer, Birdie Sweeney, change each other's lives in unexpected ways. They lose patience to this baffling pandemic, but they also shepherd new life into a fearful world. With tireless tenderness and humanity, carers and mothers alike somehow do their impossible work. I just think it sounds really fantastic. Historical fiction, and the cover is one of the most beautiful covers I think I've ever seen. So, yeah, 100% bullets for the cover and also for the author because she wrote Room, which I loved. And then, finally, I have 2 more books. These books were on the Waterstones half-price hardback deal. Now, I already have both of the first books in each of these series in paperback, but I could not resist getting a hardback for like £7. So I got Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong and Kingdom of the Cursed, which Kingdom of the Wicked is the first in this, and Our Violent Beginnings? I can't remember the first one, but this is the second in the series by Chloe Gong. And then, yeah, this is the second series by Kerry Maniscalco, and this is Kingdom of the Cursed. Both of these were £7 in Waterstones, and I literally could not resist, even though I have the first 2 already in paperback, but it is what it is. I can't resist. So yeah, that is my ridiculously large book haul from the past 3 months. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found some books that you may want to read in the future. Yeah, and thank you so much for watching this far if you got this far. I really appreciate every single one of you sitting down to watch my videos. It means the world to me. So yes, I will see all you lovely people in the next one. All right, bye guys.